Hi, I'm Justin Wassisu with the County of Grande Prairie Problem Wildlife. This is going to be the Alberta Envirothon field component of the fur segment. So I'm going to explain different fur bearers of Alberta and the furs that they carry throughout the year. So the first we're going to start with is our canines, so our wolf, coyote, and fox. Most common in Alberta is throughout Alberta, right from the bottom to the top, is a coyote. They vary in different colors, darkness to lightness. So the south actually has lighter colors of coyote, so more white. Generally in the summertime, they shed their fur, so they don't have the long guard hairs. So the longer fur is a guard hair to their body. Underneath is a finer little bit of a wool to keep them warm. So as spring comes on and we get more light in daytime light hours, that's why they shed their fur. All animals shed their fur because of light. So in winter, as we're into December, January, days are shorter, hair grows longer, days are colder. So you can see they all have a tail, fairly long furred, and belly fur is the same. You get into your fox. So this silver fox is native to Alberta, mostly higher up into the Arctic it goes. So a fox has quite a few different subspecies of fox, so ranging all the way up to the Arctic, to an Arctic fox, all the way down into Texas, so into our gray fox. This is a silver fox. We have different versions of them in Alberta: silver, cross fox, and a red fox. So this is an adult male, and fox have a white tip on their tail. And then we go up into our bigger canines, so our wolf. And they vary in different colors too. This one is a whiter colored one. They go right down into jet black. You can see definitely the size difference of them. An average coyote weighs roughly 20 to 30 pounds. An average wolf will exceed 80 to 100 pounds. So, and you can see same thing, nice big tail on it. Claws for being able to run on ice and snow, ground, digging, and taking down his prey. Next, we'll go into the felines. So Alberta has two different types of felines. So our most common in the north is a lynx. They live generally from the top of Alberta down into the bottom of Alberta, more into the Rocky Mountains. Tufts on their ears for scent control, and being able to hone in on their prey to make them look at things. They have a short nose, as like the skulls show, where a canine has a longer nose base. Good big whiskers, so they can feel themselves through thick brush without touching, and their feet are just like snowshoes to a human. So you can see they spread out into the snow as they walk. Very, very, very sharp claws for they can climb trees if need be and take down their prey. Same thing, they do shed their fur, so they in the summer they lose a lot of their guard hairs, go down into their finer hairs. They have spots on their bellies, and a bobcat, as you'll see, has more distinct spots. A lynx has a lot longer legs than a bobcat to be able to walk through snow. So this is a bobcat. Same type of head. It has tufts on its ears and little spots on the backs of its ears, so it can fool its prey. It can think that it's looking the other way and make sure it's not getting attacked by something else. You can definitely see the more distinct spots. Short little tail, as the lynx has too. Next, we're going to go into our weasel family. So they vary from sizes, from a wolverine right down to a small little white weasel. So start off, our bigger one is our wolverine. You can see the longer hair on it, distinct diamond on its back, and then every wolverine is just like a human's thumbprint. They're all different. They all have different markings on their chest. No wolverine is identical. Nice long claws, long fur. They live mostly in the north, so they do have to deal with extreme temperatures, and very, very nice long fur. Our next will be an aquatic weasel in the weasel family, so our otter. They have fairly short fur, very dense, so when they're in the water, it protects them. They're able to come in and out of the water, dry themselves off fast, and not get cold. An otter has what they call 8-way fur, so when you pull a normal long fur animal, it has a grain that goes one way. So if you pull it back, it wants to lay itself back over. An otter has 8-way fur, so it can lift itself up and stay, it can be flattened, it can be pulled side to side. So as it's maneuvering through the water, it'll do what it needs to do. If it needs to slow up, the fur will actually create it to slow down. Next will be a fisher. Same thing, longer fur. It doesn't go in the water, it hunts around the water. And very agile, good at climbing trees. Nice fur, long fur, lots of guard hairs on it to keep it warm. Another animal, weasel, is a marten, pine marten. Same thing, they have longer guard hairs, a little bit smaller, about half the size of a fisher, so they keep getting smaller. Live in trees, very seldom will go in water unless they have to. Hunt rodents and squirrels. Next will be a mink. So a mink is actually more of a water animal. They will submerge underwater, swim under, hunt aquatic animals. Shorter furred, but more dense. Underneath, they got an under-down to keep them warm in the water. And the smaller weasel is a white weasel. They vary in different sizes. You get your long-tailed weasels, which will have a longer tail. They're more in the south, right up to your normal weasel that we see in the north. Very small, very good little hunters, go through the snow. And in the summertime, their fur will actually be brown. They change throughout the year, so when they prime up, when the fur gets thicker, they actually turn white. And they're the only animal that does that. A mink will change a little bit of color, but the only animal that turns white is a weasel. A skunk, so we're getting skunks around Alberta. You can see they're long furred as well, and distinct skunk spots or stripes. So the badger is part of the weasel family too. So this is a southern Alberta badger, and long guard hairs, and they shed out in the summer too. They'll get fairly thin through the summer. You can see the claws of them. Next we'll go into our rodent family. So our beavers will be the first. They have pretty amazing fur to keep them warm. So they do have a couple different layers of fur. So the start is their guard hairs. So in the dead of winter, when they're under the ice, living in their houses, they produce their guard hairs to keep them warm and protect their fur, which is good for their underdown. So the underdown is very thick, very dense. So on a perfect prime beaver, dead of winter, when they need the most fur to keep them warm, every square inch, there's roughly 20,000 hairs every square inch. So very, very thick. As they need to protect themselves and oil their fur, they actually have an oil sac in their body that they extract, and they rub it on their fur, and it makes them water repel. So very neat that way. Your muskrat is your next aquatic fur bearer, so quite a bit smaller. Same sort of type of fur as a beaver, longer guard hairs and thicker, dense underdown to keep them warm because they are in the water all winter too. A squirrel, I don't have a squirrel pelt. It looks a lot the same, shorter fur, fairly rigid guard hairs and some smaller fur underneath.
Thank you for watching Alberta Envirothon's video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. And remember to get out and explore the wonders of your environment.